Ooh, welcome into the Dynasty Deal Show. I'm Ty at Ty Declare 44, and I am joined by Scott at Charles Chill FFB and Shane at Shane Says _FF on X. Well, there's no underscore, but we are the Dynasty Deal Show. We're coming to you a little early today to make sure you're here for football. We don't want to mix up with the Chiefs and Chargers here, so we'll get you back to the game shortly. But this is still the YouTube Premium Trade Show. Make sure you type to the Trades and Chill tier. You get early access to videos, members-only chats, private live streams, direct trade submissions, and all that good stuff. These shows pop up Friday mornings. Make sure you get your trades in the chat if you can't be here live. And gentlemen, I have one rule. If you hear this little noise, that means we got to wrap it up and move on to the next one. We all good?
Let's go.
Okay. So Shane, congratulations to the Birds. We're going to start with you here. Are you buying or selling AJ Brown? It was a interesting night from AJ Brown. He got a single catch, as a quarter and a half into the game. X and Discord were melting down over everything that's happening. So Shane, we buying or selling AJ Brown?
Yeah, he's retired, right?
Yeah.
I think he came out and said that he's clearly doesn't have it anymore. We did talk about him on the drive this morning, and then again in the chat later, the chat last night, et cetera, et cetera. So I think I've come to the conclusion of he's a player that still has wide receiver 1 weeks upside, right? I think it was Josh McAtee brought it out. It was like 43% of the time. That's pretty good. I bet you compare that to other wide receivers, it blows most of them out of the box. So I'm still buying, but I'm also wearing an Eagles hat, so I can't pretend I'm not human, like the biases aren't there. I'd say I'd buy with the expectation that he's probably not my wide receiver 1 on a roster, unless my wide receiver room is constructed around a bunch of guys like him, or maybe a tier below him, like 4 of those guys. So I'm probably looking to buy, because you're certainly not looking to sell off of 1 target, 1 reception, 8 yards. That they're just, even if you don't like them, you hold them for another week and let him bounce back before you sell them.
I mean, 43% of the time, it works every time. Scott, at this stage, you're not trading into AJ Brown to use him in another deal. He's becoming more and more like destination asset. So how are you valuing AJ Brown? Are you buying, you selling, you avoiding, you holding? What are you looking to do?
Yeah, and I don't disagree with Shane. That kind of depends on my roster, but I think we have to have a level set of he's 28. He feels like he's 35. So the community, whether he really is or not, the community, I think, almost feels like he's closer to being like done or always banged up than what he really is. He's only 28, but I think we do have to probably put him, and it's not his fault. If he was on the Cowboys, you'd be like, he's a top 10 receiver. Maybe top 6, you know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily his fault, but the way the offense ran, I mean, Hurts only threw it 23 times. He ran it 14 times. I mean, the game they played last night is half their games are going to be like that. And it's going to be ones where you're like, you're starving for just him to get to 7 targets. And hopefully it's not 1 for 8 and it's 4 for 40 and a touchdown in a couple of those games. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for him to even get to that 43% number, because it's hard just to be a wide receiver 1 in the games where you get some sort of target share. You know what I mean? Like, we're just saying that that's going to be a guarantee. But the long story, I think, is that you have to put him in a bucket where he's just a older, productive veteran now. He's probably a better version of Terry McLaurin, Cortland Sutton, DJ Moore. But he's entered that territory to where you got to be intentional where you're going to buy those guys. I mean, I don't think I'd pay a first right now, because if that's what he is, that's not what I want to use a first on. But another game like this, and the market views him literally the same as Cortland Sutton, Calvin Ridley, any of those players, then I probably don't have to pay a first. So I'm more open to buying a guy like that if it fits my roster construction. And he probably fits most constructions. I don't think anybody has too many of those types of receivers where it's like, oh yeah, he's still probably on the aggregate a top 24 guy for the year, and I'm going to get multiple top 12 weeks out of him. I think you want a couple of those. But I don't like it. I've seen people on Twitter today saying, here, take a throw-in player, like think of an exciting play, like a JCM type player, and a first to buy AJ Brown. I have 1 first. That's not where I want to use it after week 1, because I think I'm buying a player that maybe I have a small margin for profit in terms of what it does for my team, but it's probably not like I'm going to get a top 5 season out of him. It's not how I want to spend a first. So sure, we can buy him, Shane, if it's not where I have to give up my future pick to get him. I think that's bad advice. Just using your assets. I don't want to use them on AJ Brown if it's a flexible pick plus.
Yeah. I saw some deals there that I did like a hill in a second for AJ Brown. I can get behind that, right?
Sure.
I've sent out a couple today where, yeah, I think if you're an AJ Brown owner, you're not going to let him go for less than a first. You're just going to hold him if not. But if you're selling, you don't really want to send that because that's not how I want to use my first. So what I've been doing, I've been trying to send AJ Brown plus, or I send my first for an AJ Brown plus, send in some peripheral things to get things done. Try to get two things with that one first versus just an AJ Brown. But yeah, Jackson Stripe, he's not retired yet, but
well,
the
Tyler, I know we just do trades, but I want to expand on this because there's going to be many other players that enter this territory this year. If you have him, obviously you're not excited about what you saw last night. But the one thing I'm not looking to do if I have him is split him into two like second round pick level assets.
Yeah.
Because then it actually hurts my lineup and it doesn't give me any more flexibility. But I have no problem if somebody says, yeah, I have a guy like Mooney sitting on the bench and I can't start him. I'll sell AJ Brown for a first and a running back, and I'll just take my chances that what I can fill in is closer on most weeks to giving me enough that I can bank the first to do something later with. Because I don't think you're doing anything later with AJ Brown, Shane. You're not going, wait till he has two good games, then I'm adding to him to get Malik Neighbors. You know what I mean? Like he's just never going to have that type of cloud anymore, I don't think.
No. One of those guys, you're probably more flexible with a first than him for sure. So he's not. I'm not getting into AJ Brown to be flexible, but we appreciate the question there, Jackson Trap. Probably one that's on everyone's mind because we talked about this one on the Discord for a while today. If you want to get your trades in the show, you got approximately 23 minutes to get trades in. We'll hit what we can on this one, but we do got a lot of trades to get to. So Mike Conron gets the 12-team start 10 Superflex PPR 0.5 tight end premium, a 6 -2 quarterback scoring. Sent Hurts, Keon Coleman, and a 2027 third for Tua and Neighbors. Then the dreaded lingering trade offer of Waddle and JT for AJ Brown and a 26 second got accepted. He put that one in the Discord. Yeah, he set that one out, didn't put the exploder on it. That got accepted like mid-game where he sent away Waddle and JT for AJ Brown and a 26 second. Scott, I know you didn't like that second one. How do you feel about sending away Hurts, Keon, and a third for Tua and Neighbors?
Did I play Hurts last night at least?
You better
have. Send him away, or did I trade him before the game and then I got nuked on the AJ Brown trade during the game? I mean, that was a rough night for Mike if both of those went against him. I mean, I think the first one is definitely a construction thing. Like, yeah, Hurts is probably going to be a top 6 quarterback, pretty guaranteed this year if nothing changes. If we're making these bets on AJ Brown, like you got to bet the other way on Jaylen Hurts. That's a fair deal. I mean, I'd take Hurts over Neighbors, but if you needed a quarterback and you're like, I'll be willing to live with Tua as my QB2, like you're getting him for Keon Coleman in a third. I'm fine with that part. Yeah. But it's the second deal where it's like now, if it's the same team, I assume this is the same team that both of these happened. And what's the lesson here, Shane? Like I would have been sick if I saw that come through on one of my teams where I gave away Waddle and JT for AJ Brown in the second.
Yeah, see, the problem is I don't even know if I like that deal pre last night's panic attacks, taking all that nonsense out of it. Let's just pretend last night didn't happen.
Sure.
Right. Because, you said it in the drive, like JT and AJ Brown, especially considering your roster construction, pretty much could hold the same value on your roster. And then
Waddle goes out and has 10 for 100 on Sunday. People are going, I'll take him over AJ Brown in every format.
And you know what? And he happens to play with another elderly gentleman. So if he does that and Tyreek Hill looks like AJ Brown this week, then look, we have the attention span of goldfish on crack. It'll be, he's the new wide receiver one. Like it's coming. Now I knew it was coming. I told you for the last 17 years it's coming. Now it's happening. And then he'll get pumped up. And then the next week he'll go for 2 for 30. And everybody will be like, I didn't say that because anyway. The second deal, I wouldn't have liked it generally anyway. The first deal, I also don't like it. You're giving up 5 points per game at the quarterback position. But the caveat is, do you have someone better than Tua as your QB2 at least? Like maybe this is one of those deals where you're stacked at QB and you needed to make a move so you could get another position player that's that's elite. And this is the way you had to do it. Like your second quarterback is not Baker Mayfield.
You
Not
know
Geno
the
Smith.
shitter, Shane? You know why he did this
No,
deal?
not Geno.
He
But
did this deal to stack Tua with his Jaylen Waddle, which
Yeah.
then got crushed during the game and got taken
yeah,
away
that
from him.
does hurt.
So
man.
now
That
we need
does
to move
hurt.
Tua to get back to equilibrium, which is probably impossible.
Or trade them to yeah.
Well, how about if your quarterback room is Lamar with Flacco as
Oh.
well, right? So you had Hurts and Lamar. Send away Hurts to upgrade to Neighbors, AJ Brown, Olave, Addison, Pittman. You have Hampton, Harvey, and running backs in a 53. You got that Wandale as well. Loveland and Schultz, one of each future pick. Mike says, of course, not only do I trade Hurts and he flops, but that deal got accepted. And I'll also now have to flex Schultz with Addison out and AJB already played. Any week 1 point targets for cheap. So Shane, seeing that team, did that strike you a little different? Like having that Lamar, does that make you feel better about that deal? And any week 1 cheap targets that you're going after?
Yeah, I know we talk about like it's okay to move off of an elite quarterback when you already have another monster elite quarterback, but damn, in practice, I have a really hard time doing that. There's just something about knowing I'm getting 40 points a week as a floor from the quarterback position, as a absolute floor. And if it's a PPC with those two, there's legitimately weeks where you're going to get at least 60 points. That's really hard for me to move off of. Malik Neighbors is great. Absolutely great. He's generally not going to make that up. He's just not. But I get it. I mean, I get it. You do still have Lamar. And if Tua is healthy, right? Tua is 16 points a game. Who were his other wide receivers? Go back real quick.
Yeah. His wide receivers were Neighbors, AJ Brown, Olave, Addison, Pittman, and Wandale.
I mean, it's almost a net neutral move. Like Neighbors is going to slide in over one of those Olave, Addison, Pittman dudes. And he's going to give you somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 6 to 7 points per game more than those guys. So, I mean, it doesn't hurt you. I guess it's just a different way to construct your roster. So I'm okay with it. It's really hard for me to move off that quarterback room.
And Mike, cheap points. I'm putting Flacco in over Tua. I mean, that's the other shitter. It's like, man, I don't even really want to start Tua over Flacco. I just got Tua. Hopefully he can rescue me after that trade, but I don't know.
Yeah. Any other cheap targets for points in week 1, Scott?
Who can I take a shot on? Maybe. I mean, it depends on if you're starting Flacco or not. I mean, it's probably somebody that has a good matchup. But here's the thing: if you're in this spot, Ty, you have Dalton Schultz. That's not a good feeling flex in a 1.5 premium. Like that's more of like, do I have a live body? What do you want to pay to fix that Dalton Schultz upgrade in 1 week? You want to pay a second? Like, is that worth it? To pay a second to buy like a Mooney type, somebody like that in a range where you're really not buying any dynasty value. You're just, I mean, Schultz without Christian Kirk could have a good game. You don't know, but like it's lucky if he does, you know?
Yeah, I probably just I've already blown that capital on Loveland. I'm probably not paying that to upgrade at at tight end there. I mean, if you could send like Schultz in a pick to get something that you maybe feel better about for the rest of the season, sure. But looking at this team, I mean, you've already kind of pained yourself with those players, right? So I don't want to.
He's flexing Schultz. I think he would take anything that on his team
Yeah.
that's better than Schultz. I mean,
I would say, unfortunately, Darnell Mooney's not playing, but a guy like that, like. Dude, it's hard. You can anyone else, any other wide receiver or running back that's going to get any type of work, I will play over Schultz.
I mean, how about Austin Eckler? That he should be pretty available.
Absolutely, smash.
Adam Thielen, maybe right? Like something like that's probably available.
Yep.
So,
Thielen's a good one. That's one that there's a good chance that whoever has Thielen is just they're either using him for the same reason you'd want to trade for him for, or they're desperate from someone to be like, dude, I'll give you a third, and you're like, oh my god, please, thank you.
Please take this Thielen off of me. Please do. Well, we appreciate you, Mike. We'll move on to the next one here with Anthony. Well, first, Anthony dropped some sweatpants, a Scott, a Shane, a lol on a Super Bowl emoji. And Anthony has a 12-team start 10. It's a PPR and a tight end premium of plus 0.5. Lamar, Burrow, Jacobs, Bucky, Cook, Kenny Walker, Ford, Pacheco, Chase, Garrett Wilson, Ridley, Kirk, Njoku, Taylor, Gesicki. Give Garrett Wilson, get Adams, Sutton, and a late 27 first. Give me Adam Sutton at a 27 first, please. Do any of you see that any differently?
No, I mean, I'm already looking at this team going like it's a start 10. We're rocking with Jacobs, Bucky, Cook, Walker. Like Jerome Ford and Isaiah Pacheco are literally on the second string team here.
Yeah.
And now you're adding 2 more receivers that you can. I mean, here's what this does. I bank the first. I start Adams and Sutton. I then go to what can I trade? I'm trying to trade like James Cook for a first, Kenneth Walker for a first. Goodbye. I don't need those guys anymore. Liquidate again. All of a sudden, I turn Garrett Wilson into a starting. It essentially becomes Adams, Sutton, and 2 firsts for Garrett Wilson and another running back, which I already have 5 or 6 startable ones. So I love this deal. Just got to do more work.
Yeah. I'm adding Mason Taylor into a deal to get something across the line if I need to as well. Right. Shane, any other moves you see on this team that you would try after pulling this one off?
The only problem, we were literally just talking about splitting AJ Brown up into like multiple pieces. I mean, I guess you got a first. So that's really what we're looking at, right?
I mean, I don't want to split $1 into coins, but if you're going to give me 12 quarters for $1, I'll figure it out because now I have $3.
The math does work out. The math does work out. I mean, like when we haven't talked about consolidation trades in a while, but if there's a roster that needs a consolidation trade, it's this one. And then you just unconsolidate it. You unconsolidated your roster by moving G-Dub, but you did it in a good way. You got that 27 first, which is really the cream on the top, cherry on top. So you could maybe use Sutton. Yeah, I don't know. Sutton and one of these other players and just try to tier up, or maybe even just, try to get some draft capital. And can I move Sutton? Just looking at the wide receivers. So I have Chase. Who's my other wide receivers now?
So Chase,
Adams,
Javonte Adams, Sutton,
and Ridley,
and Kirk. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe can I move Sutton? I don't want to move both of them for draft capital, but can I move one of those 2 dudes for draft capital just so I have it?
Yeah. I mean, you're probably starting running back most in all your flexes here with this team. I'm happy to try to move one of those running backs, liquidate that, bank some more picks. Anthony, you got a nice little team there. This is a consolidation move team. Cool. Appreciate you. Okay, let's go to Sean Hamilton, trying to push chips in leagues with the highest win percentage, as I have this own first in almost every league. So this one's a best ball, 12 team start 11, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end. You got 4 flex and a super flex. It's a 2-point PPR for tight ends. It's a 0.25 point per carry. It's a 6-point passing touchdown, a 0.1 per completion. And this team has a 96% playoff percentage and 21% to win the whole damn thing. So Sean, Russ is the only quarterback. His running backs are Gibbs, Bucky, CMC, Jacobs, Brown, Hunt, and Sanders. Wide receivers are Garrett Wilson, Olave, Terry, Devontae, Wandale, Lockett, Palmer, Horton, Malik Washington, Yoshi Voss, Franklin Deacon. This is a wide receiver room in a best ball league I've ever seen one. Savion, Felton. We got Goddard, Mason Taylor, Schultz, and Hill. So we traded Garrett Wilson, Thornton, and 26 and 27 first for Josh Allen, Diggs, and Keenan Allen. He'd still be thin at quarterback and very little liquidity, but at least have another anchor quarterback moving forward. I mean, Shane, if you have Russ as your only quarterback and you can find a way to move 2 of your wide receivers and 2 first into Josh Allen, even in a 12-by-11 best ball league, that feels pretty nice.
Oh, so he did move 2 firsts, 3 firsts, so 3.5 firsts. I'm just giving G-Dub a 1.5 first ranking. Diggs, Keenan Allen probably knock out half of that. I mean, it's fine. It's best ball, though. Well, you got 3 starters back. So, I mean, I can't really be mad at that because Thornton, I know that he's darling, a training camp darling, but I don't know how many times he's going to actually hit your lineup. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, would I've liked to get wide receivers that are a little bit younger than maybe Keenan Allen? Yeah, because I don't know that he's going to play again after this year, but also you ain't worried about next year, so that's fine.
Yeah, I think if this was an ISO deal for Josh Allen, you'd probably feel differently, Scott. Talk me in here, though. With the 2 first, Garrett Wilson, Thornton, do you feel like you can do more with that side? Do you feel like Josh Allen and the two veteran wide receivers moves you forward? How do you feel?
Yeah, I think in best ball, especially, I mean, for those that don't play a lot of best ball, there are leagues where somebody would pay a first for Keenan Allen and Stephon Diggs combined. So, like in a lineup league, you're like, well, standalone, none of those guys are even close, and there's nothing they can really do to be close. But in a best ball, getting those two thrown in, I mean, this is a perfect. I mean, this is like when I don't have kids, but I know people that have kids, and it's like this is where you're still hungry, and instead of making more for yourself, you just eat what's on the kid's plate. It's the same thing. You're getting the extra little bit that makes you go, you know what? I'll give up all my flexibility because you're also getting Josh Allen and a 96% chance at playoffs with just Russell Wilson. I mean, that tells me that his depth is pretty good. His construction is pretty good. These guys only add to it. I mean, you're going to have probably a pickle after this year. You're going to have a lot of those pieces that we read are going to be like, man, I hope they survive another year. But who cares? Like, you probably weren't winning in this window this year without another quarterback, and you got one of the best ones. So I'm fine with it.
Let me ask you something. Did you just advocate stealing food from your children?
I advocated if they're not eating the food, instead of throwing it away, you just like, oh yeah, you're not going to finish that? Okay. Like, that's how I was when I was a kid. My parents were like, you don't throw it away. They have to eat it off my plate before they throw it away. That type of thing.
It just kind of sounded like you just said like they were just taking the food off the kids' plate, even if they're still eating. Like,
and it's probably better that I don't have kids, Shane, for that exact reason. I'd be like, I'm still hungry. You know, I bought the food. It's mine. But no, the only reason I wouldn't do a deal like this is because I'm with Shane. I didn't really add strength to my team. I just added more options. And there's always the viability of cheap points in best ball that I don't have to pay anything for. So could I have gotten this deal done without paying one of those first and just paid one more piece instead of a first? Maybe. But if this was in my inbox tie in a lot of our best ball leagues, I wouldn't think twice, because I can maneuver in best ball, especially without a first. Not that they're not valuable, but what it takes to actually get burned by trading away a first in best ball is less. Like, if you don't hit on an elite player, if I just get a Jordan Addison type, that's nice. But it's usually not moving really competitive best ball teams forward that far because the replaceability is so high. Like, you know, you find this year's Diggs every year, that will replace most of the players people draft in the first round. So I like the deal. I love it, Sean. You nailed it.
Yeah. I mean, even in these best ball leagues, I think adding a Josh Allen, yes, you have to pay up. Yes, you have to consolidate, which sometimes goes against some of these best ball principles. Think about what that does for your ability with the rest of your roster spots. You don't have to try to play some of that backup quarterback game. You don't have to devote multiple roster spots to quarterbacks. You're already kind of thin with Russ. And like you said, if you have a 96% win, you make the playoffs with Russ as your only quarterback, adding Josh Allen, that's only going to help. Again, I think I can navigate the wide receivers. I can figure that out. You have plenty of running back on this team: Gibbs, Bucky, CMC. Well, we hope on CMC, Jacobs, Brown, Hunt. So, like, you're going to be okay on that area. Maybe have to cut Sanders after this week. Who knows? But, you know, I think I can play that cheap game a lot cheaper. And like you said, Scott, I can navigate without a first. You know, in a lineup league, you kind of have to have that as a bargain chip to really move things forward. In here, you have plenty of things you can split, move around, do things with. So I'm not too worried about that, Sean. Yeah, appreciate you. Let's move on to another Sean W. 12-team PPR league. Who do I put in my last flex spot? Marvin Harrison Jr., Breece Hall, or Travion Henderson? Scott, they were talking talking Hampton on Wake Up today. But, you know, I think the steam is still there for Travion Henderson. Marv, Breece, or Hendo in week 1?
Yeah, this is pretty easy for me. I'm going Marv. I mean, he's still by far the best receiver on his team. Even if you don't like what he did last year, he's still going to get 25% target share, probably more. Breece, I mean, you can easily justify with their Elijah Vera Tucker getting injured. It's the Jets. You know what I mean? I can easily sit Breece and feel fine if he kills me. Henderson, as much as you want to jam him in, like him and Harvey have been two players where I'm like, I want to start everywhere. But if I have an option, like I'm literally benching Marvin Harrison or an equivalent, I'm fine just passing on the two running backs and starting Marv in the flex. That'd be where I lean. It'd be Henderson, though, if Feels real good if you have Hendo in there and he pops off. You're feeling awesome, but I can live with not having him in there week 1.
I mean, it also feels great when this is for your last flex spot between these
Right.
three assets on your team.
It's like Brees is going, I don't even have a shot.
Right. Shane, you see that any differently?
No, look, Hendo, again, everybody loves him. We don't know what his role is actually going to be. It won't be the first time we got bamboozled, by rookie usage. And Brees Hall, look, dude, I love me some Brees Hall this year. But if I have Marvin Harrison, I'm willing to just wait a week to make sure that, what I think is going to be the usage for Brees Hall is going to be the usage. I don't need to count on it this week. I can wait till next week.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, personally, yeah, I'll say this. I know that the passing game work is not going to be there for Brees, and for running backs to have that elite window, they have to have the passing work built in. I understand it. I just think for some reason that Brees Hall is gonna work out in a run first offense with the play action. I just think Brees Hall is gonna work out. I'm not as bearish on Brees Hall as some of the chatter I've heard, but with that being said, I think I'd have a tough time saying no to Marv. If I have Marv at this point, I'm still gonna bet that he is the Marv that I expect him to be. Give me what week was it? Week 3 or 4 of 2024, Marv. Give me that Marv, like please. But yeah, thanks, Sean. Appreciate you. Matt Doiron, 12 team, start 10. It's a 2 quarterback, full point tight end premium. We got Jane Daniels and Russ and Dart and Milrow. Kyron, Chase Brown, Connor, and RJ Harvey. DK Metcalf, Downs, Myers, a couple more wide receiver 4 types. McBride, Ertz, Strange, an extra 26, or an extra second and 26 and 27. So Matt gave Hurts, gave Ingram, and a 4th. He got McBride, Dart, and Ollie Gordon. So Shane, this is the send away Jaylen Hurts day. I mean, hopefully you had those points in your lineup and now you're shipping those off. But Hurts, Ingram, and a 4th, or McBride, Dart, and Ollie Gordon. How do you feel?
This is a 2.0 tight end premium.
It is a full point tight end premium. Yep. So 2.0. About 2.0 tight end PPR.
Man, I don't love it, but that's because I generally, I don't want to say I go cheap at tight end, but I go cheaper at tight end. I'm just punting this. What am I trying to? Oh, I have Jaden Daniels again. I get it, right? You're like, I have Jaden Daniels. I can afford to tear down to
Dart.
Russ. Well, I was going to say Russ until he's benched for Dart. I think people's expectations need to be tempered, right? When Dart does get in there, if he scores 14 points per game, that's going to be a successful rookie season. McBride, I get it. McBride's going to see a 30% target share again. If he does that, then this trade makes sense. So it's even enough that I would be fine making this deal.
Scott, this feels like one of those deals you look back on in 4 months and you're like, wow, I either got that Ollie or I got that Dart thrown in on top of that McBride. Yeah, I had to give up that Hurts, but that Ingram in a 4th, it didn't end up hurting me end of day. People are very excited on Dart. Ollie Gordon right now is one of the love childs of the Dynasty community. McBride, Dart, and Ollie, or Hurts, Ingram in a 4th.
First, welcome into Matt. I saw it as Matt Did that work?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm not doing this deal. It's a 2 QB.
It's Dorian.
Jaylen Hurts is the 4th most valuable asset in the entire league. He's worth double Trey McBride in a 2 QB. Start 2 QB. How many times do you even see the elite guys get moved? Like, this is a big bet on Jackson Dart. And I get it. Probably don't do this deal unless you have Russ. You've locked in that Giants QB room. But you haven't really given yourself any asymmetrical upside with that trade. You settled for the Giants QB room now. So you don't have 3 QBs. You had 3 QBs before this. Now you're probably looking at Russ with Daniels and Hurts going, God, I hope I never put Russ in there. But you did have 3 options. Now you only have 2. And you did give away an asset that I would be trying to aim a little bit higher. I mean, yes, it's a full tight end premium, but it's not worth trading to QB. A lot of 2 QB leagues, they don't move for non QBs back. I know you got Dart, but I don't think I'd move Hurts for this. I see why he did it. It's just he changed his construction, right? He was fine with the Giants QB room, and he's betting on Dart. And if Dart becomes if he could become somewhere between like Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love type within halfway through the season, you're going to feel fine about this deal because you have a QB2. But if he doesn't, you moved off a rock solid, ironclad, elite quarterback asset that is almost impossible to buy in a league like this for something we haven't seen. So we'll see. It's a very interesting trade. Not one I would make because 2 QB, I'd almost want to add a QB to this room and go, you know what? I'll figure it out at the other positions just due to the scarcity, but that's me. And you gave away Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
Like him or not, like the person that gets Evan Ingram is, if I'm on the other side of this deal, Ty, I'm sitting here going, man, I added Jaylen Hurts and you still gave me Evan Ingram for a year or two, and then I'll figure out tight end at the same token. So I love the deal for the other side, to be honest.
Yeah. As a McBride, I'd say one of the conductors of the McBride, hype train, at least in my parts. I can see a world where I would pursue a package like this, but on Matt's team, right? You had Ingram, you had Ertz and Strange. I ain't losing with that tight end room in this format. I'm fine rolling with that. I think you take on a lot more risk when you take Hurts out of this team. And Ollie Gordon, he's a fun piece to have, but you already have Kyron, Chase Brown, Connor, and Harvey, and probably more bodies behind that. I just don't know if this deal truly moved your team forward in a way that, where it's just holding things that you had would have done so. So Matt, I don't love it. I see where the mind was going, and maybe McBride is so right that it doesn't matter. But I think here I would hold the Hurts as well. Appreciate you, Matt. Let's go on back to Jackson Tribe here. Shane, what would a reasonable return be for Javonte Williams in a 12-team start 9 Superflex?
We talked about this morning, right? Obviously. Javonte Williams sucked. I don't know. Like, people that think he played well last night, I don't know what you were watching. The dude is pure asshole. Like, that is what he is. He had 2 touchdowns from the 1, right? I think they were both from the 1. I've been told that when you score touchdowns from the 1, they don't even count. Jaylen Hurts. But the only reason I'd even want to hold on to Javonte Williams is because we think the workload is going to be there, only because the other options are so bad. All that said, I'm trying to get a second. Like, I'm trying to cash out high because what's my motivation to move him for a third? Jaden Blue comes at some point this season and vaporizes him like last year happened to Javonte Williams in Denver, and it's probably going to happen at some point, but the options are so bad in Dallas. Was Phil Maffa, was he even active last night?
He's out for the year.
What happened? Anyway, I got to catch up on that.
Something like that. Yeah, he's out.
Damn it. So I don't even know where the Cowboys go for another running back. So you got to give me at least a second because, again, if you want to give me a third, what am I going to do with that? Maybe, can I get a third in Ollie Gordon? Can I get a third in Brian Robinson? Can I get a third and what's another running back in that stratosphere? Like, if I could do that, I'm fine with that. Can I get Austin Eckler straight up for Javonte Williams? Can I get something like that done?
Would you do Woody Marks in a third?
Yes. Sorry. That's another one in that range. Yes. Woodrow Marks. Give me the Woodrow, please.
Perfect. We saw in the game day chat 2 seconds for Javonte. He is out the door at that price. Scott, do you have any a different answer or something else you're trying to do with your Javontes?
Well, I mean, this is just the first example of many where a running back pops up and you may not think they're good, but they probably are a starter. And until he doesn't perform at all with the work that he got, he's probably going to get it going forward. It's still a start 9. So you have to take the positivity and you have to probably adjust upwards and say the value here is getting something for him. The problem with guys like this early in the year, same at quarterback, if there's an injury, not a lot of teams need him in a start 9. So you do need to value being able to get something for him. I mean, adding a third to get a second, adding a fourth to get a second, adding another player to get a second. That's the ideal thing. Take one of these, take like Torrey Horton and Javonte and get a second. In a start 9, like if I'm putting either of those in, I don't feel great. And if I'm wrong about Torrey Horton just becoming a superstar, then I made a mistake. We've all made those mistakes, but they're rare. The odds are less than 2% that deal burns me. So I think the key is like, try to move him. I agree with Shane. Like, he's probably what he is. The role is a good role, but even in a start 9, like, it's like, does anybody value Jerome Ford Does anybody value like those types? I mean, those are exactly what he is. He's good until he doesn't have the role anymore, and you still are like, man, I can probably do better in my lineup since it's so shallow. So do what you can to get something. You'll feel a lot better. Even if a second doesn't buy much in a start 9, a second can be added to a player to maybe get a first or something like that later. Like, just continue to move forward. Forget that he's even on your team because you probably didn't plan on ever starting him anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Don't hold on to him now just because he looked good. Have the dynasty discipline to make the move that you weren't too excited about that Javonte. Just take the points, move forward with a second, hopefully. Thanks, Jackson Tribe. So moving to Roy G. GP. Got a few done after Scott's inspired AI rage bait. Yeah, if you're in a league with Scott, you got the AI essay. As a 10-team start 12 Superflex lineup, 2 PPR for tight ends. The team after the trade is Jaden Daniels, Rogers, Shuck, Bucky, Sharps, and backups, Marv, T, McMillan, Rice, Mooney, McBride, and Laporta. So Roy traded away Fields and Jacoby Myers for what will be a late 2026 first. Scott, is that what you're looking to do to get into more first, sending away Fields and Myers?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 10-teamer. So anytime I can do a deal where I consolidate and get a first, you know what I like about this is a 10-teamer. We've already talked about how I know it's 10 by 12, so it's the same as 12 by 10, but the quarterback scarcity is less because it's only 10 teams. You have Jaden Daniels. Now, I'm sure Shane saw that Rogers and Shuck were like, oh, that's a terrible quarterback room. But in a 10-teamer, you already have Jaden Daniels, right? If he doesn't carry you, your team is screwed. So I can actually go to the lowest, grossest, cheapest QB2 and probably still get the same impact if I can make a deal where I turn Justin Fields into a first. And Jacoby Myers, I mean, he's nice. You can play him, but I'm looking at your team and it's like I have a Darnell Mooney and then I have some backup running backs. Like, it feels like that's not – you overpaid on paper if somebody else needed these 2 guys. But at the same time, it's a 10-teamer. I don't value Fields as much. You got a liquid first. You set your lineup this week, and it doesn't feel great to put Aaron Rodgers in, but I like having the first for Fields. You moved from risk on your team, and I'm guessing it's Roy. Roy knows how to build teams. He knows how to use assets when he needs to. So I like this trade. Perfect trade. Had to do it probably now. Either of these guys doesn't look good in week 1. No one even wants him in this type of format.
Yeah. And even if Fields or Myers look good, like the price isn't going up on those guys.
Correct.
Right. And you're in a 10 by 12, you're probably not getting a first for either. So Shane, duct tape them together and get a first.
I'll have you know, I am absolutely fine with Aaron Rodgers as one of my starting quarterbacks. I have several leagues where I'm waiting for the quarterback blues to start biting people so that I can move the quarterback ahead of him and start him. Absolutely fine with him. And that's before he's see what it looks like after week 1, and then we panic when they hand the ball off 76 times and there's 4 passes to DK. Anyway, you traded away Fields and Myers for a 26 first. That's art. That's you teach that to children, right? Like, if you want the world to be a better place, that's the type of things you teach your children. Like, anytime someone makes you an offer like this, you accept it immediately. So yeah. Not much.
And his team's not quite great either. I mean, really, I only count 6 starters. I mean, Daniels, Bucky, Marv, T, McMillan,
1, 2,
McBride,
3, 4,
Laporta.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 11. I got 11 starters.
Who were the 11?
Bucky, Charbs, Marv, T, McMillan.
Charbs is not a starter in his 10 team.
That's Tet McMillan, right?
Yeah.
No.
Probably, yeah.
Or Jaylen.
I'm assuming Tet.
Okay. So, all right, fine. Take Charbs out. So you got Jaden Daniels, Rogers, Bucky, Marv, T, assuming Tet, Rice, Mooney, if he
Rice
can play.
Not a starter.
Rice is suspended. Yes. Okay.
I'm saying we're probably eating losses for a little while we're down 5 starters.
I keep putting down fingers.
The fact that we're in this situation makes me go, because if I set my lineup and I have Jacoby Myers in there, this team's still short. You know what I mean? It's get out now on those 2 guys. I'm playing for probably later, and something goes right, I have an extra first.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't give a shit if you're a contender or not. You should always accept that deal.
Yep.
Anytime you can make a deal like that, you should accept it. You should have the discipline to go, if I can't survive the loss of Jacoby Myers and Justin Fields, I don't deserve to be in the running and I'm not really a contender. Like there's no situation where you don't accept that pick. None. I can't think of literally one, not a single one.
As Shane would say, that is the cream's cherry. So thank you for that one, Roy. We got another one here from Roy as well. 12 team start, 12 lineup, 2 quarterback, 0.75 tight end premium, and a 0.25 point per first down. The team after the trade is Lamar, Flacco, Russ, Dart, Cousins, and Sanders, Bijan, Gibbs, Ford, Pollard, Mondre, and Gordon. Ollie, I assume. Lamb, Terry, Mooney, Jennings, Downs, Andrews, Muth, and Ferg. So we traded away Fields. Ray's just sending out Fields on all those teams here. Traded away Fields and Connor for Ford, Cousins at 27 first and second, which project to be late. Wanted to get flexible pieces and make start sits easier. So projected 5th best team on Dynasty Daddy. So sent away Fields and Connor for Ford's, Cousins, a first and a second in 2027, Shane. So 12 by 12, different than 10 by 12. Same principle. You get a second as well. You get Ford and Cousins. Got to send away Connor and Fields. How are you feeling?
Yeah, you just made the same deal, except that you added Cousins and Ford and got a second back. It's protected. I don't know what that means. Projected. I thought we had some NBA like type. It's top 6 protected. Like it gets conveyed to the next season. Again, it's the same concept. It's the same deal, except you added Ford and Cousins and got a second for them. Like that's the art of the deal, man. Write a book.
Yeah. Just keep copy and pasting that deal if it works. But Scott, does the format there just change anything of what you would try to do with that structure, or is just that's format regardless? You're doing that.
No, the format probably allowed me to do this type of deal because there was some demand for Fields. The other one, I'm shocked in a 10 by 12 super flex, someone actually wanted to trade for Fields. I mean, that's where I'm kind of shocked here. There was probably a team. I went through a couple of my 2 QB leagues thinking, is there one I had Rattler in a few, like, can I pawn him off onto somebody? Because Superflex, everybody's already got their lineup set and they're not looking to buy a Rattler. But I think here there was probably a team or two that did need a quarterback and was willing to pay, and Fields was the one they held out to the very end of the year or very end of the offseason. Fields is who they could get. The reason I like it for Roy is he said he's still the 5th best team. Didn't probably change the outlook of his team. And it probably gets Flacco and or Russ in his lineup over the next couple weeks when usually those are guys where like they're both on borrowed time, like I need to get something out of them. And the offer for Flacco was probably here. I'll give you a 3rd for Flacco or a 1st for Fields. You're like, well, I'll just use Flacco. So he probably needed to make this move to give him more flexibility in his own lineup. So I love the theory behind it because you feel a little more reckless now with putting Flacco in there and being like, I'll live with what he gives me because I already netted that 1st for Fields. So I love it, Roy. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. You were talking a bit about, being able to, I guess, approach these teams. And when you have that Flacco, you don't want him to be on your bench right now. If you have him, you want to find a way to start him. Otherwise, he is basically useless on your team. So I like kind of creating that room for that. You have that Dart waiting in the wings as well. So getting rid of that Fields now makes sense, Roy. So good stuff, my friend. All right. 15 minutes left. We're going to hit these quicker. We only got a couple more left, so we're going to get through this. So Shane, I'm going to start with you. 12 team start 10, super flex, 0.5, tight end premium comes from John Diamato. We traded Bill, a 2026 third and Bateman for Ollie and a 2026 second. None of these guys will hit my lineup. Thoughts? JCM third and Bateman for Ollie in a second.
Yeah, I'm captain. Get Bill off your roster. If you have to add a third and a Bateman and you get Ollie back, I mean, Ollie cancels out at a minimum the Bateman part. So either way, you got a second, and that's really what we're trying to do. Consolidate some, what's the word I'm looking for, some shaky assets into something a little more solid, and that's what the second does. We can do a lot more with the singular second than I can do with those other 3 pieces in another trade. Especially if none of them are starting, none of them are hitting your lineup. Like, yeah, good for you. You did it.
Right. Add in that third, send away that Bill. You like Bateman, sure, he could be something, but if he's not in your lineup, he's not much to you. So give me Ollie, give me the second. Good stuff, John. All right. Dylan, Ebensteiner, who knows? How do you guys attack a half PPR league compared to a full PPR? In a start 11 half PPR, I feel myself gearing more towards running back in my flex. Is it still wide receiver assets over running back assets for you guys in a half PPR? Scott, I'm very glad the coin landed on you here on this question. So half point PPR versus full PPR, how does that change your approach?
Maybe give you a little bit of a different answer than what you thought. I do think that if you just run the numbers, like it is more likely that a running back should hit the flex in a half PPR than a full PPR, but it's not so much that you totally change how you value the players. We're talking like, and you have to understand, you still have to start a certain amount of receivers. You still have to start a certain amount of running backs. So when you're getting down to like the wide receiver 4s and the running back 3s, and they're fighting for the flex spots, we're not talking about 7 points per game difference. You know what I mean? We're talking minimum 5% or less difference in flex rate between half and full PPR. So in that range, you're still kind of coin flip on, who has the spike week, or, there's still some luck when you're fishing in those ranges. But I think what's key is how does the market view it? Because I think I'm already more likely with the way things are distributed now, even in a full PPR, to go, you know what, somebody is going to value those wide receiver 3s and 4s more than the absolutely gross running back that I could probably put in the flex. And because I've accepted that there's no like dynasty value in those spots on my roster, I don't care if it's a 24-year-old wide receiver 3 or a 29-year-old running back low end 2 or high end 3 in my flex. So I think that's where this matters most. Does the league adjust enough? If they're still going to value, I mean, obviously if you're valuing Jamar Chase and Bijan a little differently, fine. But that's a big decision. Like that could be a big swing where you would play the format a little more here. But down in the flexes, I'm looking for the most equity for cheapest production or most production at the cheapest price. And I just don't think it really matters. It's already favoring running back in today's landscape. So I'd build heavier running back just for that reason. But it's not because the format makes me say I want more running backs. It's already probably the best way to play given what you have to pay.
Yeah. 100%. Shane, do you see that any differently, or do you have anything to add to that one?
No, I mean, Scott was filibustering. We got.
Well, let me ask you this, Shane. If you're in a half PPR, would you draft Bijan Robinson ahead of Malik Neighbors?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
where I think a lot of the discussion comes in, where people are like, give me the running back. But I can't guarantee you in a startup, somebody's going to go, well, I don't care. I don't want running backs. And you could make it standard and they still wouldn't want the running back because they just can't get over the receiver hump. But that's not where most trade questions come in. You know what I mean? Most trade questions are down in the other ranges.
The trade questions are always more interesting to me than the would you rather startup ones, right? Because the trade questions are centered around real life, real world consequences. The startup ones are always hypothetical, just like all the hypotheticals about Jaylen Hurts. They don't matter. They're hypotheticals because nothing's happened yet. You know what I mean? So it's easy to be like, I do this, I do that. But trades are centered around stuff is happening and I want it to change. So, you know what I mean? Like there's a real world effect from trades that you have to have to account for. So to me, it's more telling what trades you would accept outside of a startup, as opposed to like, what would you do in a startup questions?
Yeah. And I think at the high end, yeah, you have that conversation, but I agree with you, Scott. And I think that's how I've seen my dynasty game change a bit, is when we're talking at this flex range, I'm not looking for dynasty value. I'm looking for best bang for my buck. Typically that already lends itself to the running back. In a half PPR, I think that probably just rolls it over even more. So ideally I fill that out with running backs, but at that range, it's whatever works, whatever fits, whatever I have. So we appreciate it, Dylan. That's a good question. Let's move on to the Daniel T. 12-team start 10 Superflex PPR. It's a lineup league. It's a -4, Shane. -4 for interceptions to quarterback.
Oof.
And a 2 PPR for tight ends. We got Jaden Daniels, Penix, Bryce Dimes. We got Achan, Bucky, Kyron, Ollie, Bill, Sharp, Mason, and Cans. We got JJ, JSN, Nagbuka, Olave, Pearsall, Burden, McBride, Loveland, Pitts, and JT Sanders. Daniel sent offers for Caleb in over 50 leagues. This is the only reasonable counter he received. So in his inbox right now, he sends Pearsall, JT Sanders. He gets
Sold.
Caleb
Done.
and
Immediately.
Kyle Williams.
Absolutely. Immediately. Smash.
Yeah. We'll talk to me. Why is it a smash?
Oh, sorry. One, solid team. Not sure Caleb is additive. Go back to his roster for me. Etienne, Bucky. Let's look at the wide receivers. JJ, JSN, Edbuka, Olave. Like Pearsall, whatever. He could crack your starting lineup, I guess, but it's going to take some work to get there. Like, he's not better than Olave healthy. He's not better than Edbuka healthy. He's not better than JSN healthy. He's not better than Justin Jefferson healthy. Burden's probably better than him. 2-point tight end premium. Loveland's going to start over him pretty soon. I don't even need a running back either, though. That's the only thing. Now that I'm looking at it, a chain Bucky Kyron. Dude, can I sell Purcell for something else if I'm going to move him and JT Sanders? I really don't need Caleb. And as much as I like Caleb, that same story I just went through, he's not starting over a chain. He's not starting over Bucky. He's not starting over Kyron. Like, and I love Caleb, but he's not starting over any of those dudes. So you're basically just moving a dude that's not starting for you for another dude that's not starting for you, except one has a more limited lifespan, and therefore a more limited, what's the word I'm looking for? Sell period of time. So I'd look to do something else. If you want, I'm all aboard moving Purcell. That's fine, but you got to do something else with him, I think.
Yeah. So Scott Daniel says he's still looking to increase his Caleb exposure on any dip that's there, but he's not seeing much actual liquidity or panic. So thanks, week 1, LFG. Yes, LFG. So Scott, playing from like a portfolio perspective, I guess, what are you trying to do to get into Caleb? And with this team particularly here, JT, Sanders, Pearsall for Caleb and Kyle Williams, he said, how much did that actually help the team?
Yeah, I mean, he already answered what does Caleb do specifically for this team? This is not necessarily the team where I'm like, I want to add Caleb just because of how my team's already constructed. Aside from all the portfolio stuff, though, just looking at the trade, I mean, I actually like the deal for the other side. I mean, the one player that stands out here that I'm not confident on is Kyle Williams. I mean, JT Sanders in a 2 PPR, if he just is a top 20 tight end, that probably outscores most wide receiver 3s. And Pearsall, like, I think Pearsall for Caleb Johnson is a fair deal. But I think you're adding the second piece where I just don't see where you're getting an edge here, and you're taking a lot of risk as well with your team. The real benefit is you want to add exposure to Caleb and you have some sort of conviction. And if that's the case, it's not like you overpaid. You know what I mean? You didn't like way overpay to get exposure to Caleb. If you're right about him and you want 50% of him on your portfolio, great. This is a fair price to pay. I just don't think you need to do it.
Yeah. Doesn't kill you for sure, but I agree. I think I feel worse about Kyle Williams than I do Pearsall. JT Sanders is very usable in the format. Caleb could be great though. And as I make your moves to make your portfolio moves, but again, you send out in 50 leagues. This is the only reasonable counter you got back. I understand why you're at least considering it, but we appreciate you, Daniel. Okay. Shane, Mike Conron got ETN for Chris Rodriguez in a third today.
Oh, good.
Yeah, sweet.
I mean, I heard on Wake Up that I didn't get a chance to listen until about 6 p.m. But ETN is the co-starter with Tank Bigsby. Is that it?
Allegedly.
Presumably, allegedly.
And you got Scootin' Tootin' somewhere in the background. Yeah.
Chris Rodriguez is in a backfield where I couldn't tell you anything outside of Austin Eckler is going to be the receiving back. That's literally all I know. So I'm fine with this. Look, that's a cheap way to get ETN, right? Because I've looked at him in some leagues and I'm like, I'm going to send a second for ETN. And then when it goes time to hit confirm, I can't do it. You know what I mean? I'm like, let me hold off on that. But a third and C-Rod, yeah, that's something that is more than stomachable.
Yeah, there's been some positive affinity for Chris Rod, recently with everything going on, but also that offense, you're looking at Jaden Daniels, who is going to take away he's just going to take away rushing touchdowns. And I think if you're looking at a guy like a Chris Rod in that backfield, you are looking for that touchdown upside, and because opportunity is going to be probably split a ton of ways. But Scott, is that an easy price for ETN for you?
Yeah, and I am a Chris Rodriguez fan. I mean, he was one of my favorite players. He's a Kentucky Wildcat. Like, it's funny that it's taken him 2 years to get to this role. This is the only role possible he could thrive in, is a role with a rushing quarterback where it's like you have one job, and it's literally to do like what Javonte Williams did last night. Just run it up the gut. And he's good at that. So I wouldn't be shocked if he had a good year. You know, he has 600 yards rushing and he has 9 touchdowns. And you're like, he's just a touchdown stealer that has no opportunity after this year. But feels like ETN's also one game where he's the starter and you're like, yeah, I'm easily getting seconds. You know, if you think we're excited for Javonte Williams, what if he has Javonte's numbers and he's getting 18 touches? Like, it feels like I see the process though, right? If you're looking at startable equity on my bench and I don't care about either one this week or right now, I could see taking Chris Rod in a third, but he's probably more of a destination running back with Chris Rod. He's either good, and I'm not even sure if he has a good game, or people are going to go, let me pay for him. Right. So it does feel like you did this for a reason. You wanted some liquidity, sure, but I'd probably rather have ETN too, for sure.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple minutes here, so let's head over to some banners just really quick. So David Sharkey 8732, 12-team Superflex PPR start 11. We got Hurts, Russ, Flacco, Jacob Swift, Amon-Ra St. Brown, London, Garrett Wilson, Smitty, Myers, Kirk, Pop Douglas, and Goddard. Give Garrett Wilson, Pop Douglas a 26 first and second. Get Justin Jefferson. Seems great offer, but would have no depth and a trash QB2. I mean, I feel like I can always figure out quarterback 2 in depth down the line. I don't have to have that figured out week 1 necessarily, Scott. But G-Dub, Pop a first and a second for Justin freaking Jefferson in a 12-team start 11.
Yeah, I mean, it's a start 11, so someone probably values that second in Pop Douglas. I could see it. And if they're getting a first, I mean, I don't mind getting your first on this team. This is a pretty fragile team. If you look at it, it's not like this team is stacked with stars. At the same time, I mean, you have Joe Flacco in week 1. So I'm looking at this team going, I have Jaylen Hurts. I'm already, 29 points up, right? And I have Joe Flacco. And you know who my QB is in week 2? Whoever I want between Russ and Flacco. I'm going to have to figure it out. But you're locking in Justin Jefferson for an asset that you don't feel great about with Garrett Wilson. I said you probably did smart Devontae Smith. So that nullified a lot of that Hurts. But yeah, I mean, Garrett Wilson in the first for Jefferson, that's more of a when does Jefferson become available versus, Wilson's a lot more fragile. So yeah, I'm doing this easy.
Yeah, I'm assuming I can probably do that same thing or even more with Justin Jefferson at most points throughout the season anyways.
Yep.
And Shane, last one to you here. Okay, Kakarot Sports, 10-team, start 10. We sent Herbert, 226 first, and James Cook for Jayden Daniels. What is the Jayden Daniels price in a 10 by 10 for you, my friend?
Let's just do some math on that, right? Like, even if you just say that Cook and Herbert, I mean, is that worth 3 first, Cook and Herbert?
Sure.
Ish, roughly 2.75, so 4.75.
Probably what I would want if I was selling that. I'd probably want about 3 first worth of value. Yeah.
4.75s for Jayden Daniels. Look, if you have the assets, Godspeed to you. And it is only 10 start 10, right? And it is 10, obviously 10 teamer. So it's shallow, but man, that's hard to justify for me because it's the old, well, what else could I have done? Like, is this literally like, this is that feels like I have a hard on for Jayden Daniels and I didn't even try to go get, I don't know, Lamar Jackson. I didn't try to get Josh Allen. I didn't try to get Jalen Hurts. Like, hell, did I even try to get Joe Burrow? Like, if I want that classic pocket quarterback that could throw for 40 touchdowns, I'd pass. I get it, man. Daniels is a stud. He's a generational, right? So everybody wants him on their roster, but I couldn't do it.
Scott, give me 30 seconds. 10-team start 10, elite quarterback price. What are you doing?
Well, you got to overpay because I think the getting to a guy like Daniels is probably very difficult, meaning, yeah, I get it. You could probably go shop for Allen and you could shop for Hurts. You could shop for Lamar. A lot of times those are on the teams that just won't trade them to you, no matter how many firsts you add, how many players you add. So this was probably the play. And I'm guessing his team is one of those where you're like, who do I start in my flex? Breece Hall, Marvin Harrison, or Travion Henderson? And if that's the case, you have the assets like that. you have room for one of these deals. If this blows up and Jaden Daniels tears an ACL, like your team's probably in trouble because you consolidate a lot of flexibility to get him. But I bet you if we saw the context of his team, you're like, yeah, I'll take Jaden there. So I like it. Just assuming that he did the right thing.
Right.
I can talk myself as them Jaden Daniels if you give me the space to do so. So we appreciate everyone that got their trades in on this show, including Mike Conron, Anthony West, Sean Hamilton, Sean W., Matt Dewiron, Jackson Tribe, Roy G., John Diamato, Dylan Ebensteiner, Evan Steiner, Daniel T., and all of you for listening. We are the Dynasty Deal Show. Enjoy week one. Enjoy the Chiefs hopefully winning. And we out of this thing. Peace.